Good evening, Tewksbury. I'd like to call the meeting of the Tewksbury Board of Health to order. Today is April 17th. It is 6:03, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So I want to begin by welcoming our new board member, Pam Lefebvre. Pam, would you like to introduce yourself to the board and the community?
Sure.
Okay. Nope.
No.
There you go.
Okay. Yes, Pam Lefebvre. I have a bit of a background in health, and I have served SAVE. I've been a resident in Tewksbury for 50 years, and I love this town, and I hope I can be valuable in some sense on the board.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome. All right. So next on the agenda is the annual reorganization of the board. So that is for the election of officers. So we'll proceed with chair, vice chair, and clerk. So I open the floor to nominations for chair.
I make a motion that we install Melissa, Braga. I always call people by their first name. Anyways, as the chair this year.
And yes,
Oh, okay.
all do.
So there's been a motion and seconded for myself as chair. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. Motion has put forward. Okay. So now I'll open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
I make a motion for Susan Amato as vice chair.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded to nominate Susan for vice chair. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I hear none. So it goes through. All right. And so next would be for clerk.
I nominate George Ferdinand as clerk.
And I second.
Okay, there's been a nomination and seconded for George to be clerk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. So it goes through. Congratulations, everyone. I guess it stays the same. All right, so next on, we'll proceed with the minutes from March 20th, 2025. So those were distributed through email. So may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I would motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second that.
Okay, it has moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none.
Just a point of information. I
Yes.
mean, not that I disrespect anybody's vote, but the history is that if a person wasn't on the board, so Tricia.
I did not hear.
Yeah, I don't think she did. I don't
You
think she
did,
did.
did you
No,
abstain, are you
I
abstaining?
look online,
Okay,
so.
so
didn't see
there
it.
is the thing if they do, I mean, it kind of depends, it really. mean,
I have no
yeah.
problem. I just wanted a point of information.
Okay. I didn't hear from, so are you,
Abstaining, yeah, because I.
okay.
Yeah, read the.
so we have one abstained and then 3 in favor, so it still goes through. All right, so that's.
4-0. I mean, 4.
Yes. 4 is abstain, 1 abstain.
Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, so, great. So new business, Board of Health mission statement. So The Board of Health mission statement, the current mission statement is, our mission is to foster a healthy and safe environment for the residents of Tewksbury by building strong connections with schools, businesses, and the community. We're dedicated to educating and empowering all sectors of the town to work together, promoting wellness and ensuring the well-being of our residents. Would any members like to discuss or propose revisions to this statement?
I think it's maybe that, I'm sorry, that mission statement is new, but I think if anyone has anything that they'd like to change or update with it, that would be great.
Yeah.
I have none.
Any proposed revisions, or would we like to
I have none.
move forward, keep it, think about it?
Can we think about it? Because I have not read that.
Absolutely.
I think not having it in print makes it,
Yeah,
might be perfect, but
okay.
I make a motion that we put it on next month's agenda.
All right, we have a motion to put this on next meeting's agenda.
Second.
All right, and it's been seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well, so we will put it on next month's future. Okay. All right. Next is the annual reappointment of health agents. So this is essential under Massachusetts law. Health agents must be officially appointed by the board to carry out their duties. So that includes inspections, public health enforcement, community health initiatives. So without the formal appointment, they're not authorized to perform their roles, just so we have that under clarification.
Just
So-
a point of information on the
Yes.
first group. Steve Sadwick will probably be in that position until the end of, he's going to be leaving at the end of the year, I believe. But I wanted to mention too that they're still in the process of maybe hiring another person.
Yes.
So right now that, we'll probably be looking at it again soon.
Yeah, so currently we have Shannon Gillis, Director of Public Health. She's currently under,
Maternity leave.
thank you, maternity leave. Steve Sadwick for Health Agent, Siobhan Lafreniere for Health Agent, and then Ashley Pavlakos for Public Health Nurse. So do we have a motion to reappoint these individuals?
I would like to motion to reappoint them.
I'll second.
Okay, there's been a motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Okay. So next is the annual reappointment of special health agents. So that's the people who provide specialized services such as tobacco control, animal inspection, burial permits. And so these are the individuals that are up for reappointment. And that would be Ron Beauregard, who's the tobacco control, Denise Garafio, who's town clerk and does the burial permits, Pamela Thompson, Tewksbury Animal Inspector/agent, Christine Galtieri, Tewksbury Animal Inspector, Ashley Schimmel, Tewksbury Animal Inspector, and Maria Ruggiero, Prevention Program Manager. Do we have a motion to reappoint these individuals as special health agents?
Motion to reappoint.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, George.
Well, she made it. I'm not going to second it. I had a different motion, but
Okay, so, all right. So there's been a motion that's been put forward. Do I have a second for that?
I second it.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded.
could I make an, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. I want to say addendum. Can I make an addendum that we vote one at a time?
For each individual?
Yes. I mean, I can give an answer for why I want to do that if you want to do it during, like, anyways,
Is anyone,
discussion, that's all.
is anyone opposed to doing it on an individual basis?
No.
No.
Okay,
not
So can we have I guess we would need a motion to remove the first motion.
Yes.
I motion to remove the initial motion.
Okay, do I have a second? To remove the motion,
I second.
okay. And so now we have a new motion put forward to vote on each person individually, to reappoint each person individually. That has been put forth. Do we have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay. So it has been moved and seconded to vote on each individual person. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Votes chair, chair votes aye as well. Okay, so we will be appointing each individual person. So Ron Burgod. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Yes. Opposed?
Chair votes aye as well. Motion has passed. Denise Graffio. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Pamela Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion has been passed. Christine Gualtieri. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion has passed. Ashley Schimmel. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. Maria Ruggiero. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. Motion passes. So congratulations to the new reappointed health agents and special agents for this year.
I would, I'd like the record to state, the reason why I voted no is nothing personal. I talked to Ron. I ran for state rep, and I only say that because I was concerned about the bills that have been coming to us in our town, in our district too, and I totally think the state is trying to do too much regulation, so it didn't matter if his name was on it or somebody else. I want the state to know that I think there's too much regulation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, and with that being said, the appointment, with something that gets in through the state, the Board of Health has to do the same or more for the Board of Health, from my understanding. And so Ron basically, or whoever would be the tobacco control person, is just the person that implements it.
Correct.
And promotes it and makes sure that it's being completed. He does not put in those bills or
Correct.
passes any of those things either. So we would still need to appoint someone else in that situation, whether or not that was done. So just for clarification on that. But I appreciate your process and thought process on that.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, so moving along, old business. So fluoride, the next steps. So I wanted to take a few minutes to provide some updates on the ongoing conversation. So over the past few weeks, we have received some emails and public input from residents expressing both support and concerns about fluoride in the water. I've also was able to speak with legal counsel for clarity on what we as a board can and cannot do under Massachusetts law. So I want to be clear that we are not voting tonight on whether to remove fluoride. The topic involves a lot of legal pathways that fall partially outside the authority of the Board of Health. And would require a lot of town bodies, depending on the direction that the town wanted to go. So here are some things where, I wanted to kind of go over where things stand and some suggested next steps. So the current law, which is the Mass General Law, Chapter 111, Section 8C, it's not written very clearly. Even legal counsel stated that. It was originally intended for when fluoride is first added, not necessarily for when a town wants to remove it. So according to legal counsel, there are 3 potential pathways to change any type of fluoridation status. There is the first, which is the most clear route would be a citizen petition signed by 10% of the registered voters, which can trigger a townwide referendum, which would then put it on the ballot saying, if if fluoride should continue or be removed from the Tewksbury water. There is a suggestion, there is a possibility that the town could pursue a home rule petition through a select board or town meeting, but that's kind of iffy. And there's also a part where, like the water department, they have the discretion to temporarily suspend fluoridation if there's evidence that it poses risk to infrastructure, health, or the environment. The board could recommend that they evaluate those risks, but we do not have the authority to order it ourselves. It would be more of a recommendation. So with that, there are some current bills in the Massachusetts legislature that, if passed, could make the process clearer. So there is S 1630/H2449, which allows municipalities to opt out of fluoridation. There is S 1517/H2548, which would ban artificial fluoridation statewide. And there's another one, S 1518/H2549, which requires warnings on annual water reports when fluoride levels are above the 0.3 ppm. Currently, it's 0.7, I believe. So it would be above 0.3 ppm. So as a board, these are some suggestions that we can and cannot do, or can decide to do. So we can continue to gather and share information for the public, and having those information out there so that the town residents can make the informed decisions. We can invite the water department to come to a future meeting. We can remain as an educational source, so clarifying some processes for the residents who want to pursue the 10% petition route, and we can monitor also for new guidance from agencies like the DPH or EPA, especially since the EPA just announced that they're going to be reviewing fluoride safety based upon updated science. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to the board for any questions, comments, suggestions, next steps. And if anyone wants to make a motion, whether for whatever suggestion, recommendation, anything. But I want to ensure that, again, our ultimate role is to ensure transparency and support informed choice by the residents and what the residents want, regardless of the direction that is decided.
I would just like to say that there was a lot of reading.
Yeah.
And it's from one end of the spectrum to the other, and the people are so passionate about what side they're on. And, when you read them, it's like you just keep going back and forth because there's so much information. I would like to see that we keep continuing to educate the residents, because I don't want them to just say, this is what I want, or that's what I want. I want them to read everything that we've put out there.
Yeah.
Educate themselves before they make a decision, or before they go from one side to the other. That's really important. And I'd love to see the water department come in and answer questions. I think the residents would also benefit from that. And it's just, the thing that's most important to me is for the residents to read everything that is out there and be educated on what's going on both ends.
Yep.
Because it's a lot. That's all I have.
Thank you. George?
I would like to extend my thanks again for the leadership of our board, especially you, Melissa, because of the fact, because I'm not, if anybody knows me, I don't really give a lot of back patting to folks because we're all adults and we have a job to do. But the reason why I'm doing that is we started out last year and had a lot to do with water And the easy thing to do is tell the people in the town, it's already like this. We don't have to discuss it. The CDC or whoever, we can take the initials and say, like, we don't need to do that, but we've taken into the consideration you did that folks wanted to talk about it. They were able to do it, and you're in a no-win situation that probably close to half the people are not going to be happy with the outcome regardless. And it's too easy to take the easy way out, and I want to thank you again. The numbers I looked at was probably about, from all the things that I received, it was somewhere close to 53% in favor and about 47 against. So I thought that very interesting. And the last thing, I always keep going back to it, is the young people and pregnant ladies are my most concern with this issue. And also, why is it that 2/3 of the towns and cities in our state don't have it? And yet people are so passionate about, I'm just saying on one side, are so passionate about having it. Are the 2/3 wrong is my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Pam?
I would love to see the water department come in and if there's a really excellent way to make the public aware that they would be here, because if in fact, for instance, from what I read, the fluoride level runs higher, I don't know that it does in Tewksbury, but if it runs higher than recommended levels almost at any time, that's pretty scary, because the one thing that I didn't see in the studies that I read was that we also absorb it through our skin. If you take a shower and you don't have filtered water taken in your shower, no one really seemed to factor that in. There are a lot of other ways that you absorb that. So I think it needs to be closely looked at, and I agreed completely with what the other board members said. People are passionate on one side and the other.
Yep.
But it is interesting to me that each side has suggested that studies were flawed. Like, all those studies were flawed, but my side's right. So it's very complicated
Yep.
topic, because it depends on who did the research too. So there were a lot of pieces to read.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I agree.
Chris?
The water department they need to speak on this, because I wouldn't want to make that decision for the town. No way. I'm not being responsible for making that decision. So, but yeah, people are going either way. There was a lot of reading, like
Yeah.
a lot of reading. So I think it would be a good idea to somehow have the water department, a couple representatives here, maybe if the townspeople can either email questions if they can't attend,
Yeah.
like, there's got to be a way that everybody can be heard. I mean, they've been talking, because the emails are coming, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of reading, I personally don't want to make that decision. I'm not going to make that decision. So I think the water department, they're the ones that know, they have the numbers, they have the statistics, so I think that they should be here
Yeah.
and listen to what everybody has to say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If I just may add to that, part of the education is not just with the water, but it's also in everything else that we eat and drink.
Yep.
So I think that people, I don't see that anywhere either. And that people really need to educate themselves as to where this fluoride is coming from. And what is this fluoride? What actually is this fluoride? I'm learning so many things about minerals, and it's mind-blowing. But I maybe there's a way that we could take the information that we've gotten and have pros and cons.
Yep.
Just black and white in layman terms, so that people can see the two different sides and what they're fighting for.
Yeah.
And take the $20 words, make them $1 words.
No, I thank you all for your input, and, I've read every single email and every single resident and everything that they had to say. Some were nice, some not so friendly. And I take it all because I feel like everybody, like you mentioned, they're passionate, and I think that's great that we are passionate about things. the goal of this isn't to, it's more of education and, you know, I even got things about experts, and I think there's experts on both ends. And there's an expertise in reading. I think science isn't static, it evolves. And sometimes, you know, what's considered alternative today is just kind of ahead of its time. We see a lot of that with studies that over years is then after years of a lot of issues that then they come about and say that there is something happening. I encourage everyone to stay curious. I do think that we continue to put information out there, and I think we get experts on both sides. So not only you know, from the Dental Association, but also other dentists that work in a different realm and that they can explain things maybe in a different way as well, to get both sides of the spectrum. I think that's really important, and they're both experts in their expertise in what they do. And so I don't think neglecting and stating that one person is more of an expert than the other on what they study and what they do is valid or validating any type of science. It's actually diminishing it, in my opinion, because I think that there is a lot of stuff out there, like everyone has said, and it's going to go one way or the other. There's going to be two realms, like two separate things. And the whole goal of this was just to keep people informed. When I brought it up to the board and we all voted on bringing it up, it was because it was something that was being talked about and being discussed as possibly even removing it, you know, nationwide. So I wanted to be on top of it before it came to that point, if it were to come to that. I think, you know, I urge everyone to stay curious, to keep an open mind, one way or the other, whichever way you say, because I do think that there are benefits. I mean, there are some benefits for fluoride. It may not be the way that it's being currently administered. You know, I think there are some, there's a lot of studies that say that topically it's great. And so there's a lot of information, and I don't think that name calling one or the other misinformation is also valid or creating any type of knowledge or curiosity to make informed decisions. So I urge and encourage everyone to stay curious, read both sides, read all of the science, listen to all the experts, and stay on that. So that being said, I heard a lot of, you know, wanting the water department here, which I agree, and then continuing with the information. So I guess the next step would be if there is any type of motion that we want to put forward to kind of put that on the next agenda or figure that out, or a discussion for future.
Well, could we I'd like to put a motion forward to invite, sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but.
From the water?
From the water department.
Yeah.
And to our next meeting, if possible.
Okay. So there's been a motion to invite the gentleman, and there might be someone that is more, that works directly with the fluoride, so I'll see. But whoever would be the correct person to come forward, I'll invite, we'll put that. So there's a motion to invite someone from the water department that would be able to provide such information presented. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye as well. So we'll put that on the agenda to see when they can come forward.
May I also?
Absolutely.
I'd like us to talk about how we're going to inform the residents so that either they're here or they can they send in questions or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with people sending questions, and I would even put forward, if someone wanted to, if everyone was in agreement, to even open it up to like a Zoom for people who can't make it, to the meeting in person to kind of open it up that way, if people are able to come via Zoom, to get, you know, the more the merrier. And then we'll kind of do like I would think a public, you know, open public
That would be,
talk,
yes.
so they can ask questions
Right.
as well. If they have any questions they want to submit prior that they're unable to, we can do that. And then so obviously we'd have to have the date and kind of put that forward and have enough time to make sure that everyone was aware. So we'll put that on the agenda and kind of figure that out. Is everyone in favor of that? Do we need to motion on that?
I don't think so.
Okay, is everyone in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed to that? Okay, great. All right. Any other discussion that we want to continue with this, or do we want to move to the next? All right. So we're going to go to Health Department reports. So let me just get that up here. Ooh. My apologies.
I'm not sure if they want,
Oh,
I didn't know if they wanted to speak or something.
okay, actually, do we want to open did anyone want to speak? I know we have some people here. Did anyone want to? Huh?
Thank you.
So just before we do that, we have to open that up. I know it's not on the agenda, but we do have some people here, and last meeting, we did allow someone to speak. So is everyone okay with having the person that would like to speak?
Yes.
Anybody opposed? Okay. So I'm just going to have you say your name and your address, and then you'll sign the paper for me.
Sure thing.
And go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan Young, 1408 Whipple Road.
Thank you.
And I am here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the last meeting, but I am here to speak in favor of continued fluoridation of the public drinking water. I grew up at a time when fluoride wasn't added to drinking water, and I've had many trips to the dentist as a child, and all the years of having to replace my fillings as a reminder of that fact. There are well-regarded organizations such as the American Academy of Pediatrics that acknowledge fluoridated drinking water as an important part of preventing tooth decay in children. Our own Mass Department of Public Health also supports community water supply fluoridation. The American Dental Association points to fluoridation of fluoridated drinking supply as important to overall oral health, good oral health, and the CDC has recognized that the addition of fluoride to drinking water is one of the greatest public health achievements. So we really need to consider all of those things. I would like to state that one of the things that I heard from Ms. Amato about putting out an educational paper that said the pros and cons of fluoridation actually isn't the way to go, because when you are putting pros and cons, you are actually putting your spin on fluoridation and what you seem to believe about it. So I would not recommend doing that. I think that you need to give people the resources for them to be able to look at the resources and, excuse me, and be able to develop their own opinions. The fact that there is a national thought that we should be removing fluoride is something that is relatively new. And that's something that we actually need to consider when we're determining the source of that kind of information. And so we need to move forward with this in a very tempered and educated way. I agree with being able to bring in some other experts other than someone who's in the water department, because they do not have the medical expertise nor the medical background to be able to address a lot of the information that is out there, to interpret it, to tease it out, to be able to bring it to the public in, as you had said, in an understandable way. So breaking down those big words and bringing it into something else. So that is why I came here today, to be able to talk about that. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you. This is the reason why we're doing this, so that we can get the information from the residents on both sides. And when I was talking about having two sides, I was thinking of getting that from all the information we got
Right.
from the residents. It's not something we
So you
would.
had said pros and cons.
I probably
that's
used the
totally
wrong
different than-
words with that, but
If I can expand on that, which I think, I'm going to think that's where you're going, so correct me if I'm wrong. The pros and cons is from the amount of information which we as a board have received, not heard, like, so we've gotten like 27 plus emails. This one person has, well, these are the good things. And then someone else says, well, these are the bad things. So I think,
With
in my
studies.
interpretation, is those are the pros and cons, not Mr. Amato's pros and cons.
And
if
a
that
lot
makes
of them
sense.
were, and a lot of them were also done with studies. And so
Yeah.
all of those pros and cons, a lot of the people had stated with their own with not their own studies, but actual studies that were out there that they found. So, and again, all of that information has been put on the Tewksbury Board of Health webpage of all the things and the links that people have sent to us. So any of those links that people, or the residents have sent, those are all there. Any new ones may take a little bit because they have to get uploaded. But everything I think of as far as like, you know, pros, meaning pro for it, you know, pro fluoridation, and then oppose fluoridation, those are all based on the residents, but a lot of them had stated their backup for their reasoning behind what they were stating.
References, that's the word, references.
Thank
That's
you,
the word I was looking for. I
references.
couldn't think of the word. I'm like,
So yeah, so I think that's probably what, it was just kind of putting those together all in one format versus links for each one. I mean, that's something that we're still, I guess we can, I mean, each person, like I said, I think it's really important that each person stay curious and open-minded and really read everything, not just one way or the other. I think it's really important to read both and decide and decipher what they want for themselves and their own health, and where there's a risk or not of any type of health concern. If there's any potential health concern or not, I think that is something that each person should make the decision and decide on, and at least make an informed decision on that. And not necessarily about, you know, keeping it or not. And this is with everything, I think, you know, in the world we live in, it's something that we get to choose every day, like what we put in and on our bodies. So I think that's really important to really know what we are doing for our own health and what's happening. So I think it's really great to have this discussion and having people be adamant about this. So I'm happy that people are stating their stance. So I think it's great.
no, thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. You have a great evening. Okay. So we're going to move to the Jimbo's update, which, now that I'm trying to find it. One moment, please. Okay. So it looks like Jimbo's had their most recent audit report, and that they're doing, it has improved. There's no specific findings, so that's moving forward and along. So that is why they are not in front of us, so that's great. And then Anthony's Roast Beef. The final plan was sent to us, which was the last thing that we were waiting for, which is also attached here. So does anyone have any questions? Siobhan sent that, said that she didn't have any issues with it. This was the most updated and revised as of April 3rd. So it looks like this is how everything is in their establishment. So those are those updates. And again, we don't have Shannon, who's on maternity leave, and Steve Sadwick couldn't make it today, so I apologize for the very brief summary of that. But there's no big findings, so that's great. So subcommittee reports. So with the subcommittees, there's a couple of things that, so this is something that we can either move to the next meeting and kind of discuss and think about, but we have the Tewksbury Cares that has been has not been in motion for, several years now. So we get to figure out what we want to do with that and what are the next steps. So I would like to personally put that for the next meeting to kind of discuss what the next steps are, and I'll do my best to find out what we can and cannot do with that. What are the options? And then as far as the Wellness Committee, typically there is someone from the board that goes to the meetings of the Wellness Committee, and that is 4 times a year. So it's quarterly, I believe, unless they've changed it. Would any of the members want to volunteer themselves, or would anybody like to nominate someone?
I volunteer.
Okay. So Pam, thank you for volunteering for the Wellness Committee. So basically I think it's on Wednesdays. I'll send them, I'll send Kelly your information so that she can send it to you. I'll let the school committee know as well. And then that way you'll know when the next meetings are, and then you just report back to us as far as that goes. So thank you. All right. So we'll now take any board member comments. Does anyone have anything to share?
I only just want to, this is just a point of information for us to know that it's up to date.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I apologize. Yes. Okay. So, and then suggested items for the next meeting agenda is we'll put that for the water department segment for fluoride. And then do we have any, and then sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'd just like to make a suggestion after listening to the resident. One of the things she said that I think it's a good idea is that it's not just the water department. There's really three segments. It's the water department, it's the people, the pros, and,
The experts that are for and the experts that are
I think we should look at
contra?
that, come to the meeting, next meeting, determine exactly
when it will be.
when it will be and who will be invited.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Does
Yeah, that's-
everybody?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
and I
agree.
think as members, we can all do our due diligence and research some things, and feel free to reach out to people and experts, and I think it should be a collaboration of all of us to find people, and if the residents have ideas or know someone, please reach out.
Right.
Again, my email is out there, so, and that'd be wonderful. Okay, so future agenda item will be the continuation of the fluoride discussion, next steps of continuation of this, but not to put for or against, just, more information for people, for the residents.
So if individuals ask us that have been on either side of it, we're going to say that we did not take any action to change it.
Correct, because by law, from my understanding,
Right.
we cannot vote to reduce it. We would only be able to vote to increase it.
Correct.
Which would,
And then for those that are, because like I said, someone's not going to be happy either way. And so the ones that wanted us to talk about it and would like to have seen a change, we're just going to direct them by saying that the best way to do that is by citizen petition.
correct.
And
Yep.
then tell the folks that are asking us that we're going to continue having someone from the town
Right.
come here. At least I call it annually anyways, but anyways.
Yes.
All right, thank you very
So
much.
if anyone, so again, those are it'll be in the minutes as far as like what the residents can do if they are not for fluoridation and they want it removed. That would be that 10% of thing to put it on the next ballot. And that would be something that the residents would have to start. It would not be a Board of Health initiative, just to make that clear. It would not be a Board of Health initiative. That would be something on the residents' side particularly, and that's where some of the information for the, pro and contra fluoridation would be beneficial for residents to then make the decision if that's something that they decide to do and choose to do. So it's all up to
Right.
the residents, which is what we want anyway. We want to listen to the residents. So we'll put that on the next future agenda item, as well as the mission statement for the next item to, if we want to change or modify anything. So we'll put that on the next agenda as well. Any other agenda items? Okay. Just wanted to, there was a couple of things that I found that are going on. So Thursday, April 17th, so that's tomorrow, there's a blood drive at the Wamasett Lodge. Oh, that's today.
Yeah.
Forget that. My bad. Today is Thursday.
It's Thursday.
No, there's going to be another one Wednesday, April 23rd. So at 9:30 a.m. at the Wamasett Lodge. So that's another chance to contribute to the blood supply if you didn't do that today. And then there's Tewksbury Spring Town Cleanup Day. That's Saturday, April 26th. At 9 a.m. So please join fellow residents in beautifying our town, cleaning it up. So everything for families and friends, that'd be wonderful. Also on Saturday, April 26th, the Friends of the Tewksbury Public Library is having their annual meeting. Then Disney's The Little Mermaid for the the high school theater, that's May 1st through the 3rd. So they're doing The Little Mermaid. I believe Sunday, April 20th at 9 a.m. at Northeast Christian Church. They're doing an Easter service and petting zoo for those that would like to celebrate Easter with family. And Power of Flowers Project, Saturday, May 10th. That's a festival celebrating spring blooms and community spirit. So a lot of these I found on the patch and all those things, but just wanted to put it out there for everyone. And that is all I have. So with that, if we have nothing else, would we like to adjourn the meeting? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion has put forward to
I'll
adjourn.
second.
And seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none. Chair votes aye as well. And it has been moved forward. Thank you, Tewksbury. Have a wonderful night. It is 6:51 p.m. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. And have a great night.